All right, so you asked about the Bird Dog Maple liquor, right?
I did.
So the Bird Dog Maple whiskey came from, so about a year and a half ago, maybe like it's 2 Christmases ago at least. Angel and Sevi and Sydney and all them got me a bottle of maple flavored whiskey, or it might have been bourbon, but came in a very similar bottle to this. I couldn't remember the brand. I thought it was one of the more popular brands. I thought maybe it was a Knob Creek. Come to find out it wasn't, and I've never been able to find it again. So I now have upstairs 6 different types of maple whiskey. They're all absolute trash, except this one.
Wow. I mean, for not drinking in 4 years and having a little
Yeah, so for being my first guest,
a little sip here.
enjoy. So before we get really started into everything, this is episode 1, right? So this is gonna it's probably gonna suck, but I don't fucking care. I don't care at all. So this is just mainly for us and for whoever wants to listen to it. And if it's funny, it's funny, and if it's not, it's not. And if nobody listens, nobody cares. So enjoy yourself. Nothing is off limits, and we can. So episode 1. You are
Steve.
This is Steve, and Steve, I've known you for a lot of years now.
It's been probably like almost 20 years.
Almost 20. Jesus.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, so it has been almost 20 years. Few things have changed. One, I get these type of presents now as Phoenix Godfather. I would hang it on the tree, but it says Deadpool's better on the back, so we're going to find, maybe on the back of the tree. Maybe we'll put it on the back of the Christmas tree. So we're going to hang that right there for the rest of the show. There we go.
It's a pretty nice picture right there.
That is a pretty good picture. Because eventually he'll be able to do that to me. Like probably not too far in the distant future, like 10 years or so. Shouldn't be a problem. So, all right, where'd we meet? Let's talk about it.
We met at Walmart.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. All of a sudden, you started working there. I was in GM receiving in Greece, and you had came up to me out of the blue. And
you remember like first time?
Oh yeah,
I don't remember any of that.
Like you came up to me. I think I was throwing away trash, and then you came up to me, and you were just like, "Hey, you know any places to go play basketball?" Because you weren't from around here.
Okay.
And then, what was that place over by the mall? Carter Park. Carter Park. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think really how you even became friends really, because I know you disliked me for a little while, I believe, right?
Did I?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you used to say that you did for a little bit, so that's.
I think my wife
very early.
used to say that, but not me. I mean, it could be me.
It's fair that she did like.
It was 20. It was 20 years ago.
No.
It was 20 years ago.
That makes sense. Well, since then, a few things have changed, right? You, let's see. Back then, you were probably 400 pounds back then.
Not back then.
Not back then.
No.
But maybe a few years after that.
Maybe like 2015.
So the part about the cool part about the video portion of this is I'll be able to cut in pictures that are relevant to the story.
Okay.
So,
so we're talking about like first 5K?
First 5K, I have those pictures. I have, I think I found some other ones too. Like just other random, I mean, I have pictures from before that, even when you weren't even that big, like from, oh my God, it was a birthday party maybe? You lived in an apartment. I remember I had brand new all white shoes, and I thought I was really cool.
You had the Shocks.
I had Shocks, and
you had the all white ones, and I had the black, red, and gold ones.
I did, and I was pretty fat actually. When I look back at the pictures, I'm like, a lot of this going on, a lot of drinking going on. Okay, so from there, right? Then what? What led to your weight loss? Why did you? So talk about like. People don't know you, right? So, I've posted some stuff about you before about what you and your wife have done. Like, it's like a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
But, like, if you could talk about the beginning of that and, like, what led to you. I mean, it becomes an addiction, right? Like, after a while, it's like, I'm definitely doing this. But talk about that.
Yeah, it was probably 2017. I was 397. And yeah,
just give yourself the other 3 bills.
Just
give yourself the other 3 bills.
It was 397. I remember it like it was yesterday. All of a sudden, it was snowing out. It was kind of like right around now, and my dad was plowing, and at the time his plow broke down, so he came over and helped me shovel the driveway. And we're just shoveling the driveway, and I'm like huffing and puffing. He looks at me. And he goes, "Stevie, you getting fat." and it was at that moment, I swear to you, the next day I went to the gym, and I used that as motivation, and I ended up losing 150 pounds from that moment. I got down to 244 was my least.
So that's the lowest that you made it down
lowest
to?
is 244.
What are you now? Do you mind?
Right now, I'm about 283.
283 and all muscle.
I decided to get off of. I decided to get off doing macros once I lost the weight, and then like the pandemic hit and everything. But now my wife and I are running our second marathon, our half marathon.
Right.
So we're doing our macros again. Since we started this month, I've lost. It'll be 15 pounds this month alone, and I'll probably get down. Probably the race is May. I probably should be close to like 250, 240 by race day.
So would it be safe to say, like, would you be surprised if you broke 244? Or is that something you're changing?
I would
your
say
diet to that,
I would say my goal would be 225. I don't think it's realistic, but I think I can get there.
If you get down to 225, I got some work to do. Like, I'm not that far off from 225. Like, I'm like a Big Mac and a cheeseburger away from. Yeah. So this obviously had a lot to do with your dad in that situation. But Jocelyn, your wife, jumping on board and actually
that helped a lot too, because
yeah.
she jumped right on the macros too. She ended up losing, I believe, like 40 or 50 pounds also herself from doing macros and working out. So that was huge to be able to make just one meal for dinner and then not have to make separate. Like, she would eat something different than I would eat something different, but we were eating the same things. And
well, I can tell you firsthand, like, when I started running in my journey, wasn't necessarily for weight loss, but it kind of was. It was really because I was the most out of shape person doing that Tough Mudder way back in the day. But I was able to do it, I think, to a point. But when Laura she didn't really need to be running, but her running helped, I think, the rest of it. Like you said, the meals and she kind of understood, and then lo and behold, our wives ran a marathon together.
Yeah.
So,
and it was definitely,
I don't know. You guys lost weight, and she started running with me, and the next thing you know, they're running marathons. But they can do their own podcast.
Yeah.
They can do their own shit. So, there's something that I didn't write everything down, but I wanted to ask you a couple specifics about things of the past. First of all, the kicking the basketball incident. Where were we going? And what was, because I don't remember.
We were downtown. Where were we? Like, was it Coyote Joe's or something?
I don't know.
It was somewhere. I remember we were parked at like a
I remember
church
you
parking lot.
kicked it into a church.
Well, we were at the church parking lot, and then you had the basketball in the car.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember what kind of car you had. It was like a Chevy Cavalier or something.
It was
a neon.
It was my neon.
It was the neon.
I had a neon.
It was the neon. And then all of a sudden, you just said, "Hey, I bet you can't punt this." And
so it was my fault.
It was your fault.
Okay,
yeah.
I don't.
So I don't owe you a basketball.
No, not at all. Not that I can play anymore, anyways. Thanks, Keith Bushnell, for blowing my Achilles out. Yeah. So we don't want to go into all those good times, but what do you think about the Bills' loss, by the way?
You know, being a Steelers fan, this year, being Ben's possible last year, the only game that I wanted the Steelers to win this year, honest to God, you can ask my wife. If she comes on your podcast, you can ask her. I told her the only game I wanted them to win this year was against the Bills, week 1. I didn't think they were going to win. And then they won, and I was completely fine with them losing the rest of the year. Because if Ben's going to retire, we need a new quarterback. I want the draft pick, top 10 draft pick. Yep. Now we have 20.
This isn't the year though, so you're good. You're going to have to go a year without a quarterback unless
just as long
Russell comes down.
If that's the case, if Kenny Pickett is not going to be the future of the Steelers, I don't want Aaron Rodgers. He's only a year younger.
Pickett should be available.
They have some have him in like 5. Some of them 10.
Not on talent,
but
like this is a year you want
So it's looking like they're going to probably get like an offensive lineman. I don't want Russell Wilson. I don't want all these big contracts. If this year isn't the year to get a quarterback, then play Mason Rudolph. As much as I hate him, he can lose every single game, and we can have the first pick.
Well, listen, I don't think you'd lose every single game. Not with the
Mason Rudolph couldn't beat the Lions.
Well, I mean, we all have problems, right? He can hit somebody in the head with his helmet. He can swing it or whatever. Isn't that what he did? Was that him? No, he got his helmet ripped off.
Yeah.
His helmet ripped off and then got beat with his own helmet.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why you don't want him to be your quarterback. No, next year should be a much better year for quarterbacks. And I'm not saying that because Bryce Young will be available, but personally I think he's too small. But I guess we're being continually proven wrong on that. But he's not Kyler Murray. He'll get destroyed.
But to answer your question, I was fine with the Bills losing. Probably if people are going to watch us, they're going to hate me for saying it. The Bills fans like to talk a lot of shit.
Of course they do. Well, we're surrounded by Bills fans, so I understand.
It is true. But the one question that I was going to put on social media, but I'm not one to put a lot of stuff on social media, is had the Bills won the coin toss and Josh Allen went down the field and scored a touchdown and they won,
correct,
would anybody be complaining about the overtime rule?
Well, the Kansas City fans would be.
What, like the one Kansas City fan that there is out there?
No, the one Kansas City fan that's here would be. but in Kansas City, there would be. I mean, if you take the teams out of it and you really take a look at it, it's got to be the dumbest overtime. Like, they make it. I don't understand. What's the problem with just playing another quarter? Like, what is the...
Okay, so
right?
You say that. So you say that. You say, and I'm glad you said that. You say play another quarter. So if we're in a boxing match or we're in a UFC fight and it goes to decision, they always say don't let it go to decision. Win it in regulation.
Yeah.
So you're going to let the judges decide whether, if you're fighting for a title, you're going to let the judges decide whether or not you're the champion. That would be the same as this. Why go and have another quarter? What are you going to have, another round? You're going to go 5 rounds in UFC, or what, 12 or 15 rounds?
I think every sport is different, and I understand what you're saying about boxing and I'm not saying you do something drastic like in soccer where like there is extra time and then you end up going to penalty kicks, which I find just as ridiculous. It's super exciting, but like, you know, it's like, hey, you know, the NBA Finals ended in a tie. Now we're going to have a free throw contest. And, like, it's just, it takes the whole game out of it. And I'm not, because I could care less about the Bills, right? Like, I was with my neighbors next door, and we had a great time, and we were very excited, and then we fucking weren't. Right afterwards, I had to get up, and we walked out, and we didn't say anything to anybody, you know what I mean? We know how to behave at other people's houses, because I've thrown people out of here for the same thing. But I just when I saw it happen and I thought about it, if you're the NFL, right, and you have these marquee quarterbacks, right, and they're young, got these young kids. There's a bunch of them out there right now, right? So you let one guy come down the field, not let him. This kid comes down the field to win the game, right? Let's be honest, he pretty much won the game, and then their defense made some mistakes, so from that point on, he never got to come on the field again. He never had a chance. It's like, it's just kind of if you're an NFL executive, you got to be like.
So do you think they should go to college rules?
College rules are almost as fucking bad. College rules are terrible. I mean,
So what happens if they go to a 5th quarter? Right, it goes into overtime. It goes and you go to
I
fifth,
think-
you play a fifth quarter. What happens if it's tied after that? You
I
go to a
think
sixth quarter?
It's totally okay, the rules, the way that they are in the regular season. When it comes to the playoffs, there's a lot more on the line, right? I think you play until you win the fucking game. You just keep playing. You go.
Why don't we have
It don't have to be 15 minutes. What if you do? Figure out what the normal amount of a possession is. So, like, let's say 8 minutes, 6 minutes is a regular possession in the NFL. Make the quarter 10 minutes, because if you pull off a 10-minute fucking drive, that's really hard to do with timeouts and all that. Then great, but you do a 10-minute quarter. If it doesn't finish there, you do another 10-minute quarter. Like, and I'm not saying this because of Josh Allen and the Bills fans, because most of the Bills fans that I know actually have pretty much accepted it. Like, they're kind of like, I mean, our defense.
I mean, do they have
sucked.
a choice?
No,
I mean, they don't really have a choice.
But like our defense sucked at Fatty, and he's right. And the guy that really blew the coverage is an Alabama alum, and Wallace, the cornerback, just decided, yeah, I'm not going to cover Travis Kelce. No one's in the flat. No one's on the outside. The whole thing is a total blown coverage. So don't get me wrong, the defense deserved to lose the game. I just found it. If it was any two teams, if it was Roethlisberger in his heyday and Manning, and they're going at it, and Roethlisberger doesn't get a chance to get on the field again for just because he didn't call heads. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
But that's happened for it's happened for years and years, and nobody complained until that game.
Well, no, you're hearing about it now because we're in Buffalo. I mean, that's who it happened to. That's why we're hearing it. But no, there's a lot of stupid sports rules. Do you know they just implemented the new college rules now? Do you know those? Mm-hmm. So now.
Oh, are you talking about like the 2-point conversion thing?
Yeah. So now, okay, so for people that don't know, Team A gets a chance at the 25-yard line. If they can get a field goal or whatever, then the other team gets a chance at the 25-yard line. After like 2 possessions, then you just start doing 2-point conversions. You just start going at it from the 2-yard line, which is like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Last year, 2 years ago, Texas A&M and Auburn, or Texas A&M and LSU, game was 74-72 because they literally just kept scoring touchdowns from the 25. And I used to think that the 25-yard line thing was dumb, but now I'm like, you found another way to make it worse. And Alabama won at Auburn this year like that. So, yeah, whatever. Look at you're talking about these dumbass rules, and I'm like, I don't know. Anyway, how's work?
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on PTO this week, so.
Oh, that's
good. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ski? Do you want to ski tomorrow? Can your knee handle skiing?
My knee can handle skiing. I mean, I can handle a half marathon. I'm sure I can.
Yeah, no, I agree, but it's like my knee is.
I mean, I just did squatting to my 1-rep max the other day, and that was fine.
Okay. All right, well, I stand corrected. So, we're going skiing tomorrow at some point in the afternoon, once I finish school.
I'm sure Littleman wouldn't be able to go, and I'd have to find a babysitter. So.
That's true. He's too young to ski so far.
Yeah.
Another year or two. If you go, you'll see some really young kids out there, though. It's embarrassing, too, the rest of us. I busted my face a couple weeks ago. Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah. I don't really know what happened, to be honest. I was going to do a sweet jump, right? I was thinking I was cool.
Where they had like a bunch of random
shredding
jumps?
some powder. Well, on the edges, you can find jumps and
Okay.
things. On the course of whatever.
I've never went, so I don't know.
So it's like, they just have like on the side, there's like little things, and sometimes on the advanced parts, they'll actually like build up stuff for you to jump on. And I was going, and I was having a really good day, and I was like, I'm gonna go do this. There was nobody around me. I'm gonna go do this jump. And I went over to the side, and on the way there, you're coming down. You can't just turn. Like, you can't just 90 degree it. So I'm going, and I get close, and I see that it actually dips and then goes up. Okay. And I'm like, I knew instantly that I was fucked. And to put it lightly, like, I went in, I was totally unconfident. I probably could have done it a lot better, but I wasn't expecting that. So, boom, my skis like come out from under me. I'm going forward. Now, normally when a human being falls forward, you would use these to brace your fall.
Uh-huh.
But I have poles in my hand, as most skiers do, And I think I just didn't let go of the poles because to this moment in my life, I don't know what happened because I bashed my face. Like I came down.
Like a belly flop.
Yeah, like it was up, like my legs were up and I just went whack and like I have my helmet and all that, but like that doesn't protect like here. And I had blood like all up on like I mean I crushed my face. My shoulder was all messed up. And but sure enough, I didn't lose my poles, so I'm assuming I just instead of, and so no sweet jumps ever since then. Oh, ever since that particular.
Does Laura do sweet jumps?
She does.
Really?
She does. She claims to be a better skier than me.
Okay.
I'll just let that be. I don't know if she is. We'll find out I guess tomorrow. So I'm feeling pretty confident. I went a week or two ago with just with Scott. Well, I met him there. His son snowboards, and so we got ditched right away because nobody wants to hang out with the 40-year-old guys at the ski resort. So it was just Scott and I going up and down the hill, and I was feeling myself a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out tomorrow. So, what else we got in here? First off, let's talk about some tattooing and how you got into getting so many tattoos, and then we'll just kind of let that roll into how now I ended up with a bunch of tattoos, primarily because of whatever this story you're about to tell.
Well, my first tattoo was I want to say it's like a German sun, I guess it was. Like, it was, black and then red and then yellow. Yes. I got it on my arm.
Yes.
I got it in...
That's up here?
It's up right up here.
Okay.
And I got it in an attic. At, like, someone that my dad knew that tattooed. So I got that done. And it was awful. The usual, you go to someone's house
We're going to save your dad probably knew some questionable guys. We'll save that for, like, a different episode.
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. So then my mom and my stepdad saw it, and they thought it was awful. So my stepdad at the time was going to White Tiger. So he knew the owner at White Tiger. They fixed it up, got that tattoo, and then it would just be, like, randoms here or there. And then my buddy Dan went to Upstate Tattoo to go get a tattoo. And I went with him. He wanted someone to go with him, so I went with him. And then we met Bill, who ended up being my tattoo artist. And
so for people that don't know, Bill is
a rock star.
Correct.
Hopefully Bill watches this, and then Bill...
I mean, maybe. We can send it to him later.
Yeah, Bill is a rock star now in Nashville. Pursuing his dream of rocking out. Yep. And he has literally done probably, if I were to guess, it's going to sound bad, but close to like $5,000 worth of ink on me since I have both my arms, my chest, my back, and my legs done.
So Billy is he still Billy Irish on Facebook?
Billy
if
Irish.
People wanna, I mean, no one's ever going to look at this or watch this, but
yes.
I can tell you firsthand, the guy's amazing. Like he's amazing. Like just some of the stuff that he does and hand draws is absurd. But go on.
So I went with my buddy Dan. He went and got a tattoo, and then I came up with, I want to say it was a Roman numerals for my wife. We got married on the 24th. We're Steelers fans, and she's an Aries, and it has the Puerto Rican flag in it.
Yep.
He did that one first. Then I got Alexander the Great, and then after that, it was all downhill from there. And then it just got to a point where I just wanted tattoos, and he would just tattoo me.
Fair enough.
And then how did I get you to go
Fair
there?
enough. I don't know. I just know that I wanted when I started running so much, I wanted a...
The Oregon Project, right?
Yes, it wasn't. That's not what I got first. I got it. I don't know. I was still like big into like motivational shit when I was.
Was it writing first?
I have writing first, and it says greatness is a process on my chest, and that came out really good. Billy ended up hand drawing the elephant next that goes down my arm.
Mm-hmm.
Which I have that drawing somewhere, so I actually still have the drawing, Billy. If you ever do actually see this, it's here somewhere. I was actually going to frame it and have it in the man cave here somewhere. So, But that, and then I did the Oregon project, and then we did for me, it was the infamous, like, I don't know what it was, 3.5 or 4 hours. You sat there the whole time with me. Like, we watched Star Wars, like, episode 2, and then we got, like, halfway into 3, or maybe it was 3 halfway into 4, and I just had to say, that's enough. Like, I can't do this shit anymore, so... But no, it's weird. It becomes like a weird like addiction, right? Like it's like a weird. I mean, after that, I didn't really get anything after the first half or the top part of my arm. That Billy did all of it for a long time, and then I ended up. I found out that a guy I used to work with, Mike, who I somewhat grew up with. Like he used to like bully me back in my bottle trailer days. No, he's a great guy. He opened up. He has his own spot back in Auburn, and I happened to be back one day. And I was driving by and I said, I'm going to stop in and see what Mike's doing. And that just became like where I ended up going. But it was more like Billy does great work. So does Mike. But it just became like, it's like a guy you grew up with. And it was like an easier transition. And Billy is now gone. Yeah. Too.
So now I don't have a tattoo artist. So
no, you
if
don't.
Anyone watches this and
no. Well, you could. So if you can get in to see Mike with me, we can both go. You have a blast over there.
Is there anything that you're thinking or even you thought of getting?
There is. I actually, no, there isn't. This is literally how this normally happens, and Laura can attest to this. I'll have a couple ideas, and because I'm friends with Mike, I'll get my appointment, and normally like you'll make an appointment and like they kind of want to know what you're looking at, like they'll either draw something up for you or whatever. So I generally make my appointment, and then it'll be like 2 or 3 months out normally, whatever, 2 months, or if you can get me in earlier, and then like I'll be driving there. Did you ever see the meme? It goes around the internet. It's like a picture. It looks like a picture of a guy from The Simpsons, and he's just driving, and he looks like totally blank, and it always says something like. Me driving to my 9 to 5, listening to death rap music or whatever, and he's, like that's literally me, like driving back to Auburn to see Mike, and I have no fucking idea what I'm about to get. And then I'll walk in and I'll go, well, I saw a Captain America symbol online, and then we pull that up and do it. It's like it makes no sense, but I've just found over the years like tattoos mean. Like getting a tattoo means a lot more to some people than it does others. Like to me,
I think it depends on how many you have. Because once you get to a point, you'll get one here and there that'll be meaningful and everything. And then after a while, you're kind of like, I just want to get.
Yeah. Well, you start like kind of going down a path, and it sounds hilarious, but I went and I can't remember what the first one I had gone to Mike for was. But I think it was this guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it was the Captain America actual dude in watercolor. And I asked Mike, I said, hey, because he does amazing color work, and I said, hey, what do you think about like it's Captain America thing or whatever? And he said, or I go, what do you think about watercolor stuff? And he goes, I don't know, man, I've never done watercolor on a guy. So I instantly showed back up with like a watercolor Captain America, and then that turned into more watercolor stuff, and I had to fill it in with something. So he tried to. He did end up doing the house too, coming down through, but he would tell you firsthand he fucking hated that part, like trying to match the size and stuff from up here to down here, and then getting it to like blend in and getting it in between all of the paint marks too was. It wasn't super enjoyable.
I'm surprised he didn't tell you he wasn't going to do any more tattoos on you.
No, he does. Mike's the best. He really is. I love going there. It's like, for me, it's like going home, kind of. It's like a weird, it's very comfortable for me there. I become friendly like with his wife and the people that work there. Yeah. Like it's more of a, so just some backstory with me and Mike. It was, we worked together at the bottle trailer in Port Byron, New York, tiny little nothing place where there's not much. But like the shenanigans and stuff that came out of that place are ridiculous, and the stories, and I can't even tell you if I ever saw him again after that until I went back to the tattoo place. But it was like, it's very weird. He has a way of those people like you could not see them for 8 years, 10 years, or whatever. But then like when you see them, there's never an awkwardness. There's never like an uncomfortableness. It's just a very, I don't know. It's very weird, but it's really cool. So, but I have a little bit more room right here and like up here, that I would love for Mike to do, but I've called.
Ooh.
They told me I had to put a deposit down.
Oh.
But I don't live there, Mike.
Okay.
And then I text Mike, and he said, "Yeah, no problem. I'll get that. I'll tell her tomorrow or whatever." And now it's been a week, and I still don't have an appointment.
So like you this was like recently.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So no one knows what to give me anymore for Christmas, and all I tell them is just get me gift certificates to go down and see Mike, and then I can defile my body a little bit more, and my wife can be a little bit more disappointed.
So why don't you get a Bubble Crew tattooed on you?
That's a good question. It's because we've turned this over to my wife's company now.
Okay.
So we are only going to be doing. So Bubble Crew is only going to be doing a couple designs from now on. She's about to rework the website, and the rest of it is going to be strictly for like charities. So
okay.
Rock the Dogs. We're going to do a couple more colorways for their shirts. Not as fancy as the Phoenix One and Only shirts, which I was gonna wear mine today.
Okay.
But I do remember you mentioning like, we'll talk about the clothing lines or whatever, and I was like, I guess I'll wear a fucking Bubble Crew shirt. So, but anyway, talk about the one and only Phoenix.
The one and only Phoenix. As you know, my son,
go ahead. Keep talking.
Is Phoenix. It took us 14 years to have him. He's going to be our one and only. It's like I'm talking to myself.
No, keep talking. Everything's good.
He's.
I'm just fixing the camera. Nothing to worry about here. Okay, so show the shirt. Go ahead, show the shirt.
Okay, show the shirt. Sure. And I did the tie dye myself.
So you do all the tie dye. What's a shirt like that go for?
35.
Okay.
Nothing too expensive yet until I get a website or whatever. But
you can always put on the Bubble Crew.
I'm waiting for us to do a collaboration.
Well, you're talking to the wrong person.
I'll have to talk to
I
Laura.
used to be the design guy, and now I'm not. So.
Well, I'll talk to Laura.
I was fired. I was fired.
Oh, you're fired.
I fired myself when she said, and I quote, "I'm not interested in your podcast really at all, honey." I believe were her exact words last night. Yeah, she was going to be episode 1. Mm-hmm. Not that I didn't want you to be episode 1.
Okay.
But I wanted to try to work out some of these bugs.
Yeah.
Prior to an actual interview talk with some other person, right?
Gotcha.
Which I was like, who is the next closest person that I'm comfortable with? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, Steve, you're gonna be episode 2 anyway. Mm-hmm. So we'll just go. So now I can edit this part out if you want. We didn't discuss whether you would talk about this now, but you talked about Phoenix and you talked about some of the trials that you guys had to go through to do that. So is that something you elaborate on? Or?
Yeah, absolutely.
So so you had there was I know of all people, because we have the same issues, some difficulties having children. So whatever you're willing to share about that, maybe somebody will hear it. And
we tried for 14 years, and
holy fuck, I don't even know I knew it was 14 years.
Had 4 miscarriages, and then we finally did IVF like a 3rd time. And when they did the whole process, there was only one essentially egg that was ready to be.
And he was the one?
And he was the one.
Okay. So I didn't know that.
So that's another reason why it's the one and only. He was the one and only chance that we were going to have having a kid.
So he was going to be it.
He was it.
If he didn't work,
then
it was over.
Then
okay.
It was possible it would have been over. A lot of people ask now that we had him, when are you going to have another one? Not going to have another one. One.
It's a lot to go through, right? You guys have gone through. So shout out to Jocelyn, right? She did anybody that's been through that stuff, and Laura did a little bit of it, right? Shots and just it's a lot more invasive for a girl that has to do her part. Yeah,
it was difficult, but he is definitely.
He's right here.
Yeah, he is definitely our miracle baby, and that's why his name is Phoenix.
I don't know if this is gonna show. Let me see what I can do. I don't know. Where's the camera? Right there.
Right there.
Camera.
So that's why his name is Phoenix, because we never gave up. You know, we just kept rising from the ashes. His middle name is Ray, named after my dad. My dad's name was Reynard, and he went by Ray. And right after he had passed away, we just figured that Phoenix Ray was the most fitting name for him.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, one and only Phoenix Designs on Instagram.
I was gonna say, so if I want to buy one of those, which I already did,
Yeah.
just at Instagram, the one and only,
One and only Phoenix Designs.
and soon to be on the BubbleCrew.net.
Soon to be collaboration with
Right.
Bubble Crew.
So we could do okay, so we'll do like a tie-dye Bubble Crew design over the top of maybe the Phoenix logo.
Yeah, we can do it. I mean, we can just we can do like a Phoenix logo and do like a Bubble Crew through it. We can do something with a dog.
So you have your shit trademarked. Like we don't. We were going to, and I don't know. I don't know. We were making a lot of our stuff by hand, and now we have it outsourced. And so I haven't made a shirt in a while. I made some for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the ones that I'm most proud of, by the way. So Scott, he won the tournament with my aunt over the summer, the cornhole tournament, for charity, by the way, where we raised $2,200 for Rock the Dog Rescue. So he won that tournament, and so they got like their little trophies and whatnot. But for Christmas, I always get him something done for Christmas, and I gave him his because he purchased a T-shirt that day, and I lost it. So, like the tournament shirt that had the thing on it. So I made him one of those that actually has champion in cursive, like written through the front of it. But also, and one I'm more proud of, I made him a sweatshirt that says, it's a Kanye West tweet from 2017. It says, I need a room full of mirrors so I can be surrounded by greatness. It's like,
that's fantastic.
I was so proud of that. I still haven't seen him wear it, but I'm sure his wife looked at me and went, "Why? like what did I do to you to deserve this?" So, but anyway, I don't make much of the stuff anymore, and I can. We still have some stuff, but I'm just not.
But it's nice to just be able to just make something here.
Yeah, no, I mean we have all the equipment and all that, but the problem that we're having is so when we were making this stuff, and you've had some of these little issues as well from customers that mostly we know, right? Because we're still in our bubble of influence. Stuff peels or because it's you're pressing it, right? So this is just pressed on. So I personally have washed this shirt like 150 fucking times.
And you probably put it inside out and washed it.
There's nothing wrong with it, right? Can you see anything wrong with this, right? I put it inside out, I wash it. I personally don't dry them, all of them, but I do some. I do some, and nothing's ever happened. So, anyways.
Me, I'll go and hang dry them. I'll put them inside out, cold water, no issues.
Like you're supposed to.
Joss will just throw it in the dryer, but hers, no issues either.
So, so you do have the stuff where it might start peeling and whatever, and you get those complaints, and you tell them how to take care of them, or you replace the shirt, and that's fine, right? It works out just fine. But now that we're outsourcing it, we've gotten probably just as many complaints.
Really?
But it's like a weird array of problems. So we're trying to figure out if we want to continue to do the outsourcing with this company or not. Because a couple of them like these would be different colors here. Okay. And you'd wash it and it would bleed on the shirt.
Really?
Yeah, and it's a pretty reputable company. Like we don't do anything with anyone that Laura doesn't do way too much research on. Like she's she's one of those people. So I don't know. Like I don't know how you do those. Like I would do one and then I would sell one and I'd be like, fucking no. I'm not no. So every one of these shirts takes 48 hours. So talk about how long this
for a tie-dye it could be up to.
But you primarily do tie-dye. Not all, but primarily.
It's mainly for like everyone who I've gotten an order from is to match something. Someone has a new pair of Jordans that came out or a new pair of shoes, Air Maxes, whatever it may be, and they don't have something to wear with it. So they'll tell me, hey, they'll even show me a picture like, hey, these are the shoes. Can you match it? Whether I'm tie-dyeing it or using specific vinyl for it. It could take up to 48 hours because, you know, you have to go and soak it, and then you have to put the dye, whether you use regular dye or if you use ice dye. You know, you have to wait 24 hours after that. Then after that, you have to wash it and then let it dry. I let it air dry, and then I go and put the vinyl on.
So you pretty much... You work for nothing. You're paying yourself nothing.
I mean, it's gotten to the point where now I've pretty much paid off everything that I've invested in.
No, I'm saying just time of, do like, okay, so I want a shirt that's gonna match. I don't have any fucking shoes down here. It's gonna match this. So you might have all that, but you still have to go and you're gonna custom make a shirt for me.
Yes,
primarily, right? And for $35. I want to rethink your business model, but I like what you're doing.
I mean, I got to start somewhere, right?
No,
absolutely. Honest to God, you can go and ask. You can go and ask Calvin and Daquan. I'm going to name drop some people we work with.
Don't name drop Calvin too much. Somebody might be looking for him.
That is true. That is true. But like when I first started doing it, I literally only did it just for myself, for Joss, and for Phoenix. That was it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, like, somebody had saw it and they wanted it. I think Calvin wanted a shirt, so I made Calvin a shirt. Then next thing you know, somebody else, and I'm like, this isn't gonna go anywhere. I'm literally gonna sell like one shirt, if that. I'm not gonna invest too much time into it. I'm not gonna go and get a website yet because I don't think anyone's gonna do anything. And now I've sold probably 100 and something sweatshirts or hoodies or t-shirts or whatever. And
it's a lot of time invested.
It is a lot of time, but it's not a lot of time of me standing in front of something doing it. So, I mean, it could take 48 hours, but I'm probably only doing 5 minutes worth of work.
Yeah, so you're getting it all prepped and ready with the ice and the dye, and then you just kind of, you got to leave it. But still, though, it's still, to people that are on the outside looking in, it's more than they would think. It's harder than, I don't want to say it's hard. That's not because I've done it, not necessarily the tie-dye part of it. Like, there's more to it than just the average person understands.
Well, in the beginning, it was, you had to figure out, like, there was a need and a want for something.
Right.
And I didn't think anybody needed my shirts, and I didn't think anyone wanted my shirts, to start off. When you guys started Bubble Crew, you guys weren't doing it just mainly for an investment to yourselves. You guys were looking into charities. You wanted to help, a charity and help out the dogs and everything.
Right.
So you had people that might have wanted your Bubble Crew stuff, but you also had people that wanted to give back to the charities and help the dogs out.
Yes.
I didn't have that. I had a brand that I created for my son, and I thought it looked cool. So I figured out how to do.
Did you spend all the money on Phoenix?
Did I spend all the money?
Yes.
I have.
Does he have really sweet shoes right now?
He does have sweet shoes, but he grows out of them too fast.
Relatively fast.
So I had all the money that I've made from it. I haven't spent a single thing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I was asking. That's what I was wondering.
It's put away, and
that's awesome.
I haven't spent a single.
Couple grand, right?
I just hit 31 or 3,200 now.
So just out of a hobby.
So just out of seeing if I could do something.
Well, I'll tell you, it was Laura's idea for Bubble Crew. It was definitely not my idea, and she had bigger aspirations than I did. But I'm glad that we kind of came to the common ground with the charity thing, because I just had a feeling like it was. She wanted to do it, so I got all the equipment and stuff while she was away. She used to travel for work. While she was away, I hooked up the whole spare bedroom, got it all ready from computer to the cutting machine to the press, to the weeding station to the press, and then we had the shipping station. I mean, I had everything was there. It was all ready to go, so we were able to fire it up. But I'm glad we came to like an agreement on kind of what we were going to do it for, because it's you. I mean, you got to be. We were pretty far in with it, and you're pretty far in with it, but you almost got to be like a next 2 or 3 levels up from the amount of work that I or you have put into it in order to get it like really off the ground. Like my dad said it best, like to really explode, you got to get outside of your area of influence. And I honestly think we did. We got a couple orders from construction companies. We got a couple from like little mom and pop stores or ice cream shops, and we did those for them. But it was hard because we were doing them ourselves still. So
I mean, it's definitely time consuming.
if somebody's gonna order 50 shirts, like that's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. You're excited for like 32 seconds, and then you're
until you're weeding all that stuff.
Shit, I've got to weed 50 shirts, and it's like,
and
if they want them 2 colors, like there's so much into it, and so, I mean, it's super cool that it was something that you picked up, and I'm glad that, I mean, I actually have a bunch of they're t-shirts I bought like when we first started. They're not t-shirts, they're sweatshirts. They're black and white tie-dyed already. I was gonna see if you wanted them, and you can. I mean, I don't know if you tie-dye another color on them or not. But we bought them because I had an idea to do a bubble crew, and then it just never kind of went that way. We kind of went with the Rock the Dog things, and that's really what I wanted to do. So. Thank you, by the way, for you've always supported us with our Rock the Dog stuff, and you're in a bunch of our ads for Bubble Crew. And I still have, I think I took like 80 pictures of you working out. They're still in my phone, and we never went live with that shirt. It just kind of went over. But I still have all the pictures, so maybe that'll be the cover of this episode. I don't know, but getting involved with a charity, getting involved with Rock the Dogs, and seeing what Amanda and Michael and all them guys do over there, and Taylor, their daughter, and finding them a way. What I realized was these guys do like amazing work. Like you've met them or whatever, but she's constantly asking for money, because they're a nonprofit. They run it out of like a second home. It's like the stuff that they do for some of these animals, and they don't always end up with the best. So, like, if you go to Lollipop, a lot of people don't know this. Like, Lollipop kind of picks and chooses what they get, from what I hear, as far as who they take in. Okay. So you're not going to see a lot of Scrap, for instance. So Scrap was that dog that we fostered. That was, I mean, she ended up going blind, and she was. I've been drinking a little bit, but I can't remember, but I had to give her like insulin shots with diabetic. She had like diabetic, and she had like, there was just a lot of stuff going on with her. A dog like that, a lot of times, now I've heard, I'm not throwing shade, because we got Lacey from Lollipop, but they tend to steer away from some of the harder cases. So you know, Mila, you saw pictures of Mila when she first got picked up. She was just a ball of hair, matted and shit, which is insane, because I mean, she hates you obviously, but like she's like a sweet dog. So I was trying to find a way to give a little bit more money back to those guys. So I mean, again, if anybody ever watched this, like, shout out to Rock the Dog Rescue. If you're looking to make a difference, help somebody out, help out a dog and cat, whatever, they do amazing work over there.
Donate or buy a Bubble Crew shirt.
Yeah, I don't know, buy one of these beautiful hoodies, and then put in the notations, here's an extra $10 for Rock the Dogs. I mean, whatever you got to do, whatever, right? All right, so we've covered a lot of the topics. We covered most of the topics, but there is actually one. Well, there's two. There's two more that are near and dear to my heart. We got about 12 minutes.
Okay.
All right, so the first one is, we're both big wrestling fans. I wanted to talk about where wrestling is today.
Ooh, okay.
Right? And primarily what you hate about it, but more importantly, what should be going on. So this is going to be all Steve. This is going to be all Steve, because I have not watched wrestling.
You can chime in. You haven't watched any wrestling, none at all.
I will chime in with some opinions.
Okay.
Because I primarily stopped watching wrestling because it's too fucking corny. And I'm talking mainly about the WWE.
Okay.
Because everybody that watches wrestling knows exactly what I'm talking about. I do like AEW. I do like a lot of stuff they do, but I kind of fell off a little bit, probably about a year ago. So go right into. I know you have some rant shit ready to go.
And not too much.
Go right ahead.
I mean, on a good note for WWE, the Royal Rumble is this weekend.
It is.
The Royal Rumble is probably like the best event out of all. I mean, to me, it's better than WrestleMania. It's better than Survivor Series. It's better than SummerSlam.
So let me ask a question, and then you can keep going. First of all, open this, because apparently I'm a small child.
I don't know if I can open it.
I hope not. I hope not. Yes! This makes me feel so good.
Yeah, I can open it.
You can't open it?
No.
No, really?
No.
Oh.
Do you want this one?
No, I'll just go with more maple, but that's maple bacon.
Okay.
And it tastes like...
What was that one? Just maple?
Just maple.
Okay.
Just maple, so...
Not too much.
No.
There you go.
You have an empty glass, and I know you're driving. I'm not going to do that to you.
Yeah.
So, okay, go on with your... Is Roman Reigns still a champion?
Roman Reigns is the champion, but I believe he's going to lose this weekend.
Jesus Christ.
But he's a heel. If people don't know what a heel is, it's the bad guy.
I know.
And so everyone hated Roman Reigns, and then when he became a bad guy, then his character was better. He was just not this...
So it only took a decade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just about, yeah.
For them to do that.
Yep.
Okay. Go on.
But okay, so Royal Rumble this weekend. So
Right.
I mean, it's the most entertaining. You'll have people that'll come back that are either in another, wrestling organization. People that are retired. People come back from injuries.
Right.
So you kind of don't really know who's gonna win. Honestly, I haven't watched WWE in probably over a year. Sometimes I'll read up on it.
Royal Rumble?
I'll watch Royal Rumble, 100%. Will I watch WrestleMania? Probably not, because somehow you'll end up getting like Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar again, or something, or John Cena or somebody else.
Does he still wrestle?
No, but I guess he said he wanted to come back. So
He's not on a contract no more.
I don't think so. But also, I don't watch WWE.
Well, I don't. I watched half of an episode like a week ago.
Oh, WWE or
WWE.
Not NXT 2.0.
Nope.
Which is by far the worst wrestling ever created. I would rather watch...
Is Triple H still running?
No. They got rid of Triple H. They got rid of everyone. William Regal. Like all the regular NXT people, they fired everybody. And they've got all these brand new people. And it's like those stereotypical wrestlers. So now you have an Italian guy, and he's like an Italian mobster kind of guy.
Of course he is.
It's just like if there's an African American, he's a rapper. It's just like,
of course.
It's just like the gimmicks are awful, and it's gotten to the point where I would have it DVR'd on my YouTube TV, and I took it off. Like, I'm not gonna let them get my credit for even taping it.
Keep talking. I'm just checking. I'm checking cameras.
So
you're still going.
It's also to the point. I literally just erased NXT the other day, and now I think I'm gonna erase SmackDown and Raw.
Okay.
Because it's unwatchable. Whereas I feel like AEW, I'm pro AEW. I'll watch every AEW. AEW's on tonight. I'll watch tonight.
You think I can get you and Jim here together to talk about?
Jim was the anti AEW.
I know he was.
He is now pro AEW, and he was NXT was the greatest thing. As soon as it turned to 2.0, he said it's absolutely unwatchable. The same thing. It's awful. Like, don't even read about it.
Really?
It's just,
man.
AEW is kind of like, everyone compares it to WCW, but for me that's good, because back when there was the WCW WWF wars, I was a WCW guy. I'd rather watch Sting, which is crazy that I'm still watching Sting wrestle.
That's a problem. Yes.
Ric Flair, Lex Luger. I'll go and watch. I'd rather watch all those guys than the WWF guys.
See, I think it's a problem for older people. I mean, I'm calling us older people now because, so my friends and I from like high school, early college days, right around like 99, 2000, that was like the peak of wrestling.
Well, that was when DX was there.
It was DX and Stone Cold, so I think you get a little bit spoiled as far as like what the content is. Like,
you like the Attitude Era.
Right, but in there, to compare it to today, it was like the ratings were like, it's not even close. The ratings were beating Monday Night Football like back then. So when it's kind of like now, and it was the last thing that I was going to talk about with you for 6 minutes is and hopefully this records for 6 more minutes because it's like 10% battery. But it's kind of like what Marvel puts out now, right? So we hit the pinnacle. Like, I don't care who comes on here and talks to me about it. I got plenty of people that come on, and they're going to tell me that I'm crazy about the Marvel stuff, but we hit the pinnacle, right, at Endgame. We hit the pinnacle of the WWE when Stone Cold's like beating DX, right? Like, it was like and now the content's good, right? It's probably good if like that era never existed. I don't really know what AEW could do today because they're still like on the upslope to make somebody interested that's not a wrestling fan. The same thing with Marvel. Like, I don't know.
I think the difference is with WWE, and like I said, I haven't watched in a long time. I've read a couple, sometimes if SmackDown or Raw or pay-per-view is on, I'll read what happens, what the ratings are and everything. But there's no storylines. Like, you need to be invested. There needs to be some sort of a storyline to get behind.
Correct.
They're just putting the same people against each other all the time.
Yeah, like different times. There's Seth Rollins and there's, right? Is he still?
Seth Rollins is probably, I'm going to say now, Seth Rollins will probably beat Roman Reigns this weekend.
Okay.
Because I think Roman's been the champion for well over a year.
Yeah, and I mean,
and that's another thing, just having one person be the champion for a year and a half. I will be fine with somebody losing every month. There's a new champion.
If someone's going to be the champion for like a year and a half, it's, I don't know. Like, just in my experience, I'm not involved as much today, and I don't watch it as much. It seems like almost a lack of creativity, in my opinion. So if you think back to the absolute peak, right, during the Attitude Era, like maybe the beginning of the Attitude Era, whatever you want to call it, like they kind of beat Stone Cold down for a long time, like over and over again, until finally he like kind of became. And the only thing that I could even put close to that was when Daniel Bryan finally fucking made it, right? They beat him down for a year.
And I hated Daniel Bryan.
So did I.
And now he's fantastic.
But that moment, like when he finally made it, right? He finally made it, and then he ended up having to retire or whatever because he was, he had his, his neck? Or whatever?
Yep.
But he had his neck thing, like, that was heartbreaking because he finally made it, and like that was like a real life issue that took after that. But like the way that they did the storyline was like, okay, this is something. It's one of those moments, like, they can write their own fucking moments, right? They're not the NFL. They can't just hope for fucking Patrick Mahomes to do something like that. They could literally write it whatever they want, and yet here we are with Roman Reigns again, and well, whatever. Anyway, so here, okay, last 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Marvel, right? Deadpool fan.
Yes.
Right? Probably the worst of all superheroes. What have you heard as far as his entering into the
You
the
think
MCU?
he's the worst, but Deadpool could have easily taken out Thanos.
Could he have?
Yes.
That's fine. We all have our opinions. Then where the fuck was he? I guess is what we'll ask. But more importantly, though, so Ryan Reynolds is going to stay. They're going to keep Ryan Reynolds. I haven't heard any Deadpool rumors, and that's the concerning part. Other than,
I mean, there was rumors that there was going to be Deadpool 3.
yes, but it was going to be in the MCU, or they were going to, Sony and whatever they're going to do. But that was literally the last thing I heard. So since then, I've heard 150 million things, including they've got Tom Cruise to apparently he's going to appear as an alternate Iron Man in whatever, Doctor Strange. Yeah, you didn't hear that one?
No.
I actually saw a picture of him. Like, I don't know if it's real or not, but yes. Well, so when they were looking to cast Iron Man, Tom Cruise was up for that role.
Okay.
Supposedly. I don't know how true that is. I'll have my Marvel episode later on when Charlie comes out, because that's like his fucking wheelhouse.
Does Charlie like Iron Man? He's the Batman of Marvel.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I completely agree. He's just rich. But,
correct.
But I mean, he
has no superpowers. He's also just smart. Rich.
Yeah, he's just, exactly. that is. I do like. That's the one thing I did like about DC when Ben Affleck said, like, oh, I'm just rich. I was like, well, that's fair.
Yeah.
So No, I don't hate Iron Man. I don't. Charlie is a. I don't really know who his favorite superhero is actually. It might be Wolverine. A lot of people like Wolverine, and I don't understand. I don't understand it.
I was never a big Wolverine fan, but I do have a Wolverine tattoo.
I don't mind. I don't mind Wolverine. Like I think he's probably like in my top 10, but I don't necessarily.
I think Billy was a big Wolverine fan. That's why I have a Wolverine tattoo.
Like a perfect kind of synopsis of Wolverine to me is the Pete Holmes thing. X-Men, when he fires all the X-Men, he fires Wolverine. Mm-hmm. I'll put that at the end of this video, and it's just like, you are literally made out of the one thing that our biggest enemy can control his mind. Meta. Your power is pretty much this. You know what I mean? Like it's like I get it. He can and don't. I mean, I like Deadpool better than Wolverine, but I don't know. So, well, hey, thank you for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it cut us off already. We're already done.
Oh.
Well, hey, thanks for coming on.
Hey,
I don't know if that's still going or not. We'll roll with that, but. We covered a lot today. This is episode 1. I apologize to everybody if it sucked, but also I don't fucking care at all. So I will send you copies of all this. And,
sounds good.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having a drink though.
Hey, no problem.
It's been a long time.
First time in 4 years.
There you go. Cheers.
It was good.
It's not bad, right? It's not super strong.
No,
right?
I liked it.